This is in cab and brake test all included. You get in using your 3-point contact. Hold your seat belt, make sure that it pulls out and retracts. It latches and unlatches. No cuts, no frays. Secure the mount to the seat and to the cab. Your seat, steering wheel, and mirrors adjusted for you to drive safely. Looking down, you got your red ABC rated fire extinguisher, fully charged in the green. Behind that is your red box. Inside is your 3 red DOT reflective triangles.
Both of them are properly mounted.
They're properly mounted. Over here in the door, you have to always verify that you have the emergency response pack for your tractor. Crash camera, batteries, spare fuses, and guidebook. Turn the key to the on position. You see the gauges, they cycle. And we're working on looking at all of the lights, warning lights that they go off. Usually the last one to go off is the exhaust burn off light, and it's went off. Okay, I'm going to do the indicator lights. Right indicator is working properly. Left indicator is working properly. High beam works properly, and four ways are working. Now we'll check the windshield wipers. You see that the fluid is working properly and the blades are making proper contact to the windshield. The windshield wiper arms are not bent, broke, or cracked. They're properly mounted to the truck. The windshield, it's also properly mounted. No cracks, no moisture, no illegal stickers. Alright, this time we'll go ahead and do a safe crank, safe start. The brakes are set, it's in neutral. Okay, after you start the engine, you go through your gauges. Over here you have your oil pressure gauge. It's working in the proper range. Above it is the tachometer, your RPM gauge. You just rev it by mashing the throttle. It works properly. Fuel gauges, DEF. See that it's full and the fuel gauge is at 3/4, which is plenty enough to make a trip. Center console is the 14.2 volts. You see that it's working. The alternator is charging it. It's a 12-volt system. Moving on over, the your air gauge. You got your primary and your secondary gauges, white and blue needles. They're working in the proper range. Above that, your speedometer. It's working, previously checked. Below that, in the right corner, is your water temperature gauge for your engine. It's working in the proper range. Now, at that time, we'll go ahead and check the city horn, working, and the air horn, it's working. Now there, we'll check the dash vents, make sure they're blowing, cold, and then hot, and then check the defrost, same way. Checking hot, and check the cold, both working properly. This time we'll go ahead and reset the governor. And we're going to raise the pressure back up. And between 120 and 140 psi, you're going to hear the governor purge, which is going to sound like a sneeze. Working properly. Okay, at this time we will shut the engine off, but keep the hand on the key. Turn the key back to the on position. Put your foot on the brake. Release both valves. let the air stabilize to where you hear no noise. Okay, the air brakes have stabilized. I hear no noise at this time. With your foot still on the brake, you're going to hold the brake pedal for 1 minute. You cannot lose more than 4 psi in 1 minute. If you do, you have brake failure. And you have to show the tester that you're starting to count down now. For the sake of the video, we'll say that 1 minute and 5 seconds has went by. You did not lose 4 psi on your gauges in that 1 minute, and you hear no leaks. Brakes are working properly. Now at this time, we'll go ahead and fan the brakes. And at approximately, say, 55 psi or above, you're going to see and hear both the visual and audio low pressure alarms. Brakes are working properly. You see and hear the alarms. Now at this point, we're going to continue to fan the brakes. And at approximately 40 psi, the 2 valves are going to pop out. Brakes are going to release. Valves release. Brakes are working properly. Now this time the brakes are set, it's in neutral. We're going to do a safe start again. We're going to let the system build back up, and once it reaches 85 psi, it shouldn't take more than 45 seconds to get to 100. We're at 85 psi. Now you can do a silent count in your head, and it shouldn't take more than 45 seconds to reach 100. Okay, we're at 100. It didn't take more than 45 seconds. At this time, if you're using wheel chocks, it'd be a good time to get out using a 3-point contact, exit the vehicle, remove the wheel chocks to do the moving test. Once you enter back in, put your seatbelt on, continue to build up until governor shut off so you have enough air pressure to do the moving test. Okay. Governor purged, so now we're going to check the tractor brakes. Push the red valve in. Put it in drive and just give it a tug, make the truck rock. Brakes are working. Pull the red out, push the yellow in, checking the trailer brakes. Give it a tug. Working properly. Now push both valves in. This time, this is the service test. You'll pull forward up to 5 miles an hour. You'll stab the brakes. The truck cannot pull left or to the right, which will be brake failure. Brakes are working properly. That concludes the in-cabin brake test.